This is a video presentation of Bible 2114, Bible Survey, Unit number 8, entitled Prehistory. The purpose of this lecture is to acquaint the student with the events in the Bible from the fall of man to the dispersion of man over the face of the earth after the flood. This will deal with significant events in the world history before the specific call of Abraham and God's exclusive work with him and his descendants. As a result of this lecture, you, the student, should know what constitutes the fall of man and what are possible interpretations of that event. The conflict between Cain and Abel and Cain's punishment for the murder of Abel. The events connected with the flood. What are the facts specifically stated in the text? And what is merely conjecture? What part does Noah play? And what are possible interpretations of the sons of God and the daughters of men listed in Genesis 6? The extent of civilizations covered in the Table of Nations on page 134 of your text. And the purpose and significance of the Tower of Babel story. Your speaker today is Dr. Roy Hayden.
This lecture continues the discussion of prehistory. The material that will be covered is found in Genesis chapters 3 to 11. Subjects to be discussed include the fall of man, Cain and Abel, the flood, and the Tower of Babel. This is a general history of man which may have covered thousands of years. The previous lecture discussed several theories which attempt to interpret the creation account of Genesis chapters 1 and 2. It was pointed out that the creation story which we have is not scientific, but pre-scientific. The language conveys an eternal truth. That truth is that God made everything, and it was all good. Man was highest of all created beings, and to him was given dominion over all the world. The creation account does not tell us when or how the creation took place, but it does indicate that man had a unique relationship to God, for he was created in the image of God. This is expressed in man's reasoning, moral, and creative activity. After Adam, or man, was placed in the Garden of Eden, but before Eve was created, God commanded man that the fruit from all the trees in the garden could be eaten, except that of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Death would follow if that fruit were eaten. The term knowledge of good and evil is a Hebrew way of expressing a knowledge from one extreme to the other. It includes all moral knowledge. After the creation of Eve, the scene is set for the great confrontation called the fall. The serpent, later associated with Lucifer, or Satan, approached the woman and asked a question. The question was designed as an insinuation of doubt on the part of the serpent. Did God say? The serpent followed this with a statement that questioned God's motive. Eve was convinced that there was something to be gained by eating the fruit. She ate and also gave some to Adam. Then their eyes were opened. They recognized that they were naked, and they attempted to compensate by making fig leaf garments. This scene of a serpent, a tree, and a woman is not unique to the Bible. An ancient cylinder seal pictures a man and woman seated with a tree between them and a serpent behind the woman. This account touches on several basic questions of man. Why are people ashamed of their nakedness? Why does a serpent creep in the dust? Why does mankind hate snakes? Why do women suffer when they bear children? Why are they dominated by their husbands? Why does a man have to work so hard for his bread? The story also touches on the origin of sin and death. The origin of death appeared in the